rewarding, encouraging to see the new African man establish a forefront of liberation organizations in this period. It hasn't always been disorganized. We had mass demonstrations, we had rallies, teach-ins, we had marches. But one of the weaknesses in the black man's role in this liberation was the ability to put together administrative predictability from the black man. The black woman is out there kicking and scratching. In the last 10 years, the black woman has shown herself to be politically astute and sufficiently organized to hold back the vicious examples of oppression that we are being confronted with. We owe them a continuing effort to put together structures, infrastructures to hold back and back them up as they move forward into the next years, decades coming. And it's coming. We as black men was the #1 target to these racists. We were the #1 target, not because our fat black asses was worth anymore, but because they determined that if they undermine the black man, they undermine the nation. In the discussion of where do we go forward, we could not find a more clear example of a genocide waged against an individual type than the struggle to suppress the black man from his genitals always up to his brain. And every technique they use to undermine our confidence, our courage, and our ability to set our spirit free was an attempt to undermine the whole black nation. So black man, we are now in a position with the black woman holding up the sky.
Very powerful, important words from our brother, MUTULU SHAKUR. Today's episode, we give a revolutionary salute to our former political prisoner, brother Dr. MUTULU SHAKUR. Those words are very important that we need to reflect on. Dr. MUTULU SHAKUR, in his own words, was a political animal at one moment in his life. Well, actually, I would go on to say that was for the duration of his life, because he never wavered away from what he needed to stand up for, and he committed himself to a number of organizations to produce what he thought was correct regarding the forward moving of people of African descent. And for those who are viewing for the first time, my name is Brother Frank, and I'm a former political prisoner,
Abdul Haq Islam.
So that back to our conversation on Dr. MUTULU SHAKUR. It's very important that we understand what this means in the time of our political struggle, our struggle for national liberation. You know, although he's gone from us physically, he's not gone from us politically, meaning that his legacy was laid. He was with BAANA, BAANA, that was an organization of Black acupuncturists who came together to address the issue of heroin addiction. and they understood what they needed to do and decided that it would be done on their own terms, right? This was at Lincoln Hospital, and at Lincoln Hospital, Lincoln Hospital compromised after a while, right? So this organization realized that they had to sever ties with Lincoln Hospital to continue their work. They used their platform as a way to politicize those who were getting their treatment, and they understood that in order for them to be able to talk to people clearly, they had to provide some assistance in a particular issue that they was dealing with. So I thought that that was very important that people understand what this brother stood for, and that in order for us to truly be respectful with our brother, Dr. MUTULU Shakur, we got to do it in actions. It has to be a part of our lives. We have to step up and accept the responsibility of carrying out correct ideas. Brother Abdul Haq.
Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Brother MUTULU left us on July 6th. And we always look back on, as we study history, we always look back on the deeds and accomplishments of our ancestors, those who leave us. MUTULU is among those who have left us a very, very valuable legacy, in terms of who he was. And in a few minutes, hopefully we can read a letter that he wrote to his stepson, Tupac, which really shows what his mind and spirit was. He left us a great example of courage. Constant theme that he spoke on was fighting against oppression, overcoming obstacles, overcoming difficulties. This was his spirit, a fighting spirit, a warrior spirit. I had personal contact with Brother MUTULU in that he was my cellmate for a period of time in a MCC, Metropolitan Correctional Center, the federal jail in New York, and he expressed, in our conversations, that his philosophy was about action, about doing things, as opposed to what he called armchair revolutionaries, who sit up and read stuff and talk a big talk as if talking is some work. He wasn't about that. He was about action. That's what he expressed. That's what he was about. And in MCC, he had great respect among those we call the Lucan proletariat. The other prisoners in there. They respected him greatly. He used to body punch on them and stuff. In fact, we used to work out together. One of my favorite workouts is hitting the heavy bag. And when MUTULU hit the heavy bag, and I mean a heavy, sure enough, heavy bag, it bent in half. That's how hard he was hitting. And everybody who knew MUTULU talked about his reputation as being totally bold and audacious, would stand up to anything, would stand up to something that was as tall as a tree, wasn't scared of nothing,
Brother, I got that letter, man. You want me to read the letter now?
In 1 second. The brother's going to read the letter that I spoke about. This letter really shows what his spirit was. I was about to mention the incident in Bethel Church in Detroit when the RNA was being founded, and the police, attacked and was firing on the brothers and sisters, and MUTULU covered Brother Holman Ferguson with his body, and that is one of the courageous acts that he is very, very well known for, a selfless act, You understand? To save one, putting another person's safety above his own. So yeah, go ahead and read it, and then you'll see more of who Mutulu was in this letter to his stepson Tupac.
Letter to Tupac. I love you whenever, forever, Tupac. So much I needed to say, so much you wanted to say. Many conversations between us within the ether, whenever, forever. The pain inflicted that scarred your soul, but not your spirit, gave force to the rebellion. Many couldn't see your dreams or understand your nightmares. How could they, Tupac? I knew your love and understood your passion, but you knew of your beginning and saw your end, racing towards it. You taught and fought through your songs and deeds, rat-a-tat-tat of words penetrating the contradiction of our existence. Whenever, forever, who cares? We care, Tupac. The Shakurs have been guided by struggle, prepared or not. Whenever, forever, we've exposed our existence naked from fear to those who would hear the positive, who would witness the stress, wear and tear of this lonely path. You couldn't have evaded the effect of or the changes you inherited. It was in your genes, but still you danced your dance. You lived your life. You forced loyalty on those who would fake and shake at the true vision. You were Tupac, like the four seasons. We come to this planet taking form, becoming elements of nature. Some of us are only one season, and others like you were part of many seasons. This dynamic will scare most anyone who realized the burden at such an early stage of life. You fought well. We love you. We understand. Forever, whenever. Please give my love to our family. Ask them to help you on the other side. Tell Zayd, Lumumba, Abby, Brother Legs, Matari, Atala, that they are to continue to help us down here. Shakur's love is strong. Whenever, forever. Friday 13th didn't mean a thing. Life is for living and dying well. Whenever, forever. Allah knows best. We choose the quality of our life. You understand the pain of disappointment in the ones we love. You pushed so many away, burnt so many as you were facing, knowing well to what length you would go. This battlefield of reality is littered with many meaningless casualties. You never yelled out, "Somebody save me." You only asked for your soul to be free. Whenever, forever. You told us to keep our head up, knowing the pain was coming, knowing to look for the strength in the heavens. Set your soul free, Tupac Amaru. We keep waiting in vain for their love. Will your alleviation be awakening of us all? The division unsettling to our dreams and goals. You passing demanding repentance and resistance. We keep waiting, not in vain. We give you love. Give us love. To my brother and son, these emotions are hell. I wish you well in the next journey. My soul aches for comfort. In our next life, we will finish our unfinished journey. Whenever, forever. For now, Tupac, we will hold our heads up. This journey is at an end. Your ashes are in the wind. Friends and enemies will have to look to the stars. You are truly a star navigating through the dynamics of this. Your path chosen before you arrive. Lessons we've gained will materialize after you're gone. Whenever, forever, your family will keep your spirit high. For we are Shakurs. We are thankful for what life gives us. Through the pain and the struggle, we are blessed by the victory. Go forward, Tupac. The victories we will teach your mission. We are thankful for you. We love you, Tupac Shakur. We ain't mad at you. We'll be better because of you. So now I give you my tears so I might assimilate your loss and I can live on in peace, knowing I will feed your spirit with my unconditional love, knowing you will need it on your next journey. May Allah bless your deeds and forgive your errors. Tupac, come to me and give me strength. Love always, your father, friend, comrade, Matulu.
Right on, right on. Powerful, powerful. To me, that shines light on who Mutulu was, mind, heart, and soul. A poem eloquent statement to his son, on the themes of holding your head up, struggle, fighting, the strength, in those words, to a son who has departed, to Matulu in a state, heartbroken state. You understand? And those words, are valuable for us today, to inspire us, to impress upon us again and again the value of struggle, the need for struggle, the importance of us going all out, putting our lives on the line. This piece, demonstrates that Mutulu's whole life was about freedom, fighting for freedom, a love for our people,
Absolutely.
So this is something that we will hold as a treasure, and that inshallah, the folks will look on these words again and again and again, to get the meaning in our hearts, and to inspire us along this path, and push us forward, and let us know that our victory is certain.
Absolutely, and I think that what's being said when I read that letter is his relationship to Tupac and how deep it was, and he understood that Tupac represented brothers that were going through a number of challenges, and so although the letter was specifically to Tupac, the letter I think also can be applied to a generation searching for clarity, a generation searching for their understanding of what life means to them, and why there are certain issues that are in existence, and once identifying those issues in existence, then what you need to do to it, or how you confront it. That's how I took that letter, and I looked at that letter as something that was written to me at that time, because I'm not that much younger than Tupac, so I was going through challenges that he was going through. Of course, he was on a whole nother level because of his celebrity status, but yet still, as a black man, a man of African descent, living in an exploitative world, an oppressive system, we're faced with those challenges. So we have to look at that letter as being directed to us specifically. So when we look at the legacy of Dr. MUTULU Shakur, we're looking at a legacy of accountability. And like I said earlier, he's going from us physically, but he's not going from us politically. He left a body of work that we can utilize in dealing with our situations. And, in that interview prior to us coming on, in the interview that was the introduction of us coming on, he talked about him being immature as far as not joining the Black Panther Party, not out of lack of disrespect or respect, rather. It was about him being in a certain predicament at the time he was in, and him understanding that, certain times are not the best time to be a part of something because of where you at. He had to grow, he had to elevate, he had to mature politically in making a decision on the level of commitment that he would make to an organization. So I thought that said a lot about him as a person. He understood that he was not perfect. He had flaws like we all do. And he understood that he had to work on himself. And then once he was working on himself and he made the necessary adjustments regarding his political development, then he made a decision on where he would be and what level of commitment that he would make. And that's evident by the many years that he spent in prison, over 37 years. The state neglecting him, the state treating him in a manner that, they want to treat him because of what he represents to his people, to all of us. And I think that, sometimes we as organizers, I'm not talking about just me or Abdul Haq or or one organization. I'm talking about every organization that chose to take a stand to free political prisoners. You know, when you get granted a compassionate release and you're a political prisoner, let's accept that as a victory, as a people's victory. Because let's be clear, the state is very vicious. They don't want to free no political prisoner. They want you to die on their terms. They want you to die in prison. They want to discourage anyone from following your example. So when we get our political prisoners free, regardless of how it's done, we have to accept that as a victory, a moral victory. So it gives us inspiration to continue this work. That's why when we came on today in the spirit of Dr. MUTULU Shakur regarding our accountability and how we decide that we're going to pick up the work and accept that responsibility to advocating for ideas that represent us in terms of moving forward as a collective. We displayed a number of political prisoners because that's what we think MUTULU Shakur represented. Not just himself, but all those who are continue to experience incarceration. We let those names be shown on the screen so people could know who they are, do some research, and spend time and write to a political prisoner. I wrote to MUTULU, he wrote me back, and it meant so much to me. And you know what made me write him? It was someone said that if you call yourself you can't call yourself a revolutionary and don't write political prisoners. That was an idea that I couldn't shake. I couldn't ignore. I had to do a serious self-analysis and tell myself that, you know, I have to step up. I have to do more. I have to make sure I make time for a political prisoner. I have to write them a letter, and I have to read it intensely, and from it apply it to myself and decide how far or how committed I am to eradicate exploitation and oppression from our everyday lives as people of African descent, as working class people. So Abdul Haq Islam, you know, you spoke on being incarcerated with MUTULU Shakur. And I know that that was something that let you realize the importance of this brother. I know Coltrane Shimarenga had his relationship, and Sekou Odinga had his relationship with Dr. MUTULU Shakur. Now, you know, now two of them are ancestors. But, you know, when people talk about their respect for MUTULU, how should that respect be expressed?
That that should be expressed by a continuation of the fight. You understand? Being inspired. You understand? The knowledge of MUTULU, you know, as we study history, you know, these things give us strength and courage. This is what he talked about. He talked about strength and courage and determination. And the theme of love comes up over and over and over again. Revolutionary love is to put forth great efforts, you know, toward freedom. You know, MUTULU, you understand, fought for a nation, you know, laying out the 5 states in the South set aside for Black people. And, you know, and it takes an elevated type of spirit, you know, it takes the best of our people, you know, to struggle on that level, you know, against a very ultra violent and cruel enemy, you understand, against all the odds in the world, you understand, to still have the fight, you know. So when we read that and get those meanings, you understand, and as more and more of our people, you know, ingest that meaning like nourishment, like food, you understand, we will feel our collective strength, you understand, growing and growing and growing as we look on these very, very powerful examples, you know, that come from the best of our people, you know, to stand up, you know. And I want to mention right here that there are some events planned in commemoration and respect for Dr. MUTULU Shakur. You know, there's one that's going to be in Atlanta on August the 6th, and people who want precise time and location, they can look up our link. Also, we're planning to have events in New York City, about our beloved. This brother was very, very well loved,
Absolutely.
and a lot of that love is in New York City, because he slid through here, and worked with us, so that's coming up, as we'll continue to remember our brother, to remember him as family, he talked about the Shakur. The Shakur family was a family that lived on struggle, it was like sitting down at the dinner table and struggle was on the menu to feed us, to feed the people and to struggle and fight, for these righteous ideals. And MUTULU's presence among us also shines light on our other political prisoners, that they need to be free, that they have a whole lot to offer, Tupac's, MUTULU's offerings, which could have been offered, was like on lockdown, was in jail, was stolen, a stolen life, and there is the life force of the other political prisoners still languish, estranged away from us, So MUTULU's example, MUTULU's life and his force and his energy, will contribute to the call, let's free them all.
Absolutely. It was a way of life. He never stopped doing what he needed to do. He came up with the code, him and Tupac.
Yeah.
So I think that code was already in existence.
Tell what
and they utilized that to get people who were in the street to think about their actions. Right?
Stop killing each other.
Right. And some people had an issue with that and thinking that they were compromising with that particular lifestyle. But I think that sometimes in order to talk to people, you have to talk their language, and I think that was the intent when they came up with the code. And we got to look at that it's a science, right? It's a social science when you're dealing with oppression and the way and the methods that you go about making liberation possible. And once you understand that it's a science, right? You come up with an idea and you see what happens, and then you do an analysis of it, a critical analysis of it, and decide whether it's working or not. And then from that point on, you decide how long and how far you would go with it. And I think that that's what our beloved dear brother, Dr. MUTULU Shakur, was dealing with when he dealt with or came up with the code or actually utilized it to win over some brothers who were participating in certain activities that were not necessarily
shooting each other. Certain activities, shooting one another.
Yeah, speak on it, brother.
Yeah,
that's what our platform is about. It's about intense conversation. It's about coming out of this clear on what we need to understand and utilizing it to organize to free our political prisoners.
Yeah.
I see you rolled down code.
One thing I want to say about the code is that there are many organizations right now around the country who are producing stop the killing, stop the violence type activity. The work and that type of work is going on, and there have been reports, that indeed shootings are down. Shooting and killing, the rates are down. So this comes at the slaves' idea that this is such an overwhelming phenomenon that ain't nothing we can do. We'll hear that every now and then from a slave out there in the street. When we talk about stopping the killing, they need to, look at what Garvey said. Garvey said, "Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will, you know. So that type of idea, you know, need to, you know, be like a baseball bat that knocks that a home run, you know, out of that fake slave stuff and knocks that brain somewhere into outer space. You dig? You know, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will, you know. So as revolutionaries, you know, we destroy that hopeless, helpless type of thinking, you know, that comes about through being brutalized and disrespected. You understand? And you know, treated like dirt. You know, we rebel against all of that, and that's what our political prisoners is about. You understand? And that spirit needs to be out here strong. You know, so we encourage brothers and sisters, you know, to continue to fight, to make this fight for political prisoners a top priority in our fight, just as important as any other fight. You know, a child, you know, the death of children at birth, you know, healthcare, everything. All the fight for local prisoners need to be right up there among the A1 top priorities. What's to call free them all.
Yes, well said, as always. So once again, we appreciate your time. We ask that you share it with 10 people. Be like MUTULU Shakur and continue to fight for our people. Give it all you got, and always, always be motivated by love. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and love.